here's how you get the rats. You get like a sock, and you fill it with some sort of food item, like peanut butter, and the rats will climb into it, and you'll get like 3 or 4 rats in a sock, and you grab the sock by the end and just whack it into a wall. Got four dead rats. Just whoosh, 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 dead rats in a sock. I mean, you've ruined the sock, but you've got dead rats. So that's something, isn't it?
Well, hello everyone. This is the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your co-host, Jake, and your host over there is talking about dead rats. How you doing, Charles?
I'm doing all right, Jake. How are you? How's Denver? How's life?
Well, they don't know that, but I moved to Denver. And Charlie, you're moving to Scotland soon, aren't you?
I'm moving to Scotland. I won't tell you where in Scotland because I don't want our rabid listenership to come and find me and set my house on fire.
Scotland, if you didn't know, Charlie, is a pretty big place.
Yeah, I know. It's really not that big.
And our listenership is quite small. And I think the only person from Scotland, you probably already know them, that's listening.
No, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't know who you're talking about.
Yep. Okay. Well,
I am an enigma.
I wouldn't say that.
I would say that the entirety of our listenership comes from the fact that everyone thinks I'm single, and they just want to bang my brains out.
Just from your voice, because they don't know what you look like. It's, this is a podcast. It's not video. It's audio.
Exactly.
Unless they really saw you out and were like, "Who is this Charles Lung?" And
it's
care
really
to do
not
their
hard.
research.
If you found me on Instagram, you can find out what I look like.
And your Instagram is linked at every description.
It is?
Or no, it's linked on the YouTube page, I think.
Okay, that's the reason I haven't gotten any new followers.
There we go.
There are a couple pictures of me.
All right, Charlie, what are we doing today?
Well, you said you got a podcast you want a pilot you want.
Yeah, I have a podcast I want to pitch. No, I have a pilot actually. Because that's what this show is. It's called Very Reasonable Pilots Podcast, not Very Reasonable Podcast, even though sometimes we screw up. Because VRPP is kind of weird. But VRP?
Yeah, VRPP. Well, I think VRP, but replace the first P we have with Politics P.
Oh, yeah. We were talking about this earlier. Charlie wants to do a politics podcast. But it's still us two, so it's not going to be any good ideas or well thought out, or probably just a lot of rants and confusing words mixed together that we don't fully understand.
The internet probably has enough white guys with microphones doing a politics podcast.
The internet has enough white guys with microphones doing podcasts, period. So
yeah, but I haven't seen one that they pitch pilots. I've seen ones where they are writing scripts.
Oh, so something that requires more skill. Got it.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, anyway, my pitch is it's a sort of not Game of Thrones. I already did that. A Hunger Games kind of show.
Games.
So we're in the future, Hunger Games kind of future, and criminals, instead of being sent to prison or being executed or some other weird thing,
or being turned into the slave labor of the nation. Yeah.
Well, sort of. Because they are the entertainment.
Ooh,
sort of like Gladiator-esque, but
Russell Crowe's there.
They are put into different games. All the games are based off of different board games. And
that's fun.
Yeah, and the winner of the game gets to be set free. Everyone else dies because they die in the game. So, and now they're not sitting around playing a board game. They're actually in the game. It's a huge arena or whatever.
They're the pieces in the game. What games is it? Is it Chutes and Ladders?
Each season is a different game. And we're probably going to follow a different character every season.
Yeah, because they'll either die or be
set free.
Set free. Maybe we could have reoccurring characters, like somebody comes back as the guy who
the
lives
game show
through,
host
or
is
girl.
who I was thinking. Could be reoccurring.
Yeah, or the villain,
We're gonna get
like the
Jeff
guy who
Probst.
survives season 1, comes back in season 4, and he's the big bad.
Oh, yeah. So they bring him back because he was a fan favorite or something. They didn't kill him. They're like, oh, yeah, everyone liked this guy, so he's back.
And the final scene is you have to fight him, and he's in a giant mech.
Maybe not. I don't know what board games involve giant mechs.
Cool board games. What board games are you thinking about doing?
Well, the first one I'm doing is It's not. It is a board game. It's a card game. It's called Town of Salem, but it's also was originally a computer game. It was one of those like flash games. Now, Town of Salem is a game based on like deception and sort of working together. And so there is in Town of Salem, everyone's put into a town, and no one knows who each other's roles are or anything about each other.
Oh, so it's mafia.
It's basically mafia, except more complicated. And so there's the town, there's the mafia, then there's like sort of extra roles that are all out for themselves, like the serial killer who just wants to kill everyone.
And I'm assuming there's a witch.
There's a witch. There's an arsonist, a jester.
A jester?
Yeah.
What's he do?
Well, I'll get there. So we're gonna follow Sheriff Mallory. Mallory is our she's our gal,
it's a she.
And she's the sheriff, and her job is she wants the town to win. So the town is usually the biggest team, and just to clarify for the games, whatever team wins, they get to all survive for Town of Salem.
Okay. Oh, that's nice. But
so instead of just one person, because this board game involves a lot of people winning.
Yeah, but like also the mafia in the game or whatever will kill people and they'll die.
Yes, they will really die.
Real life.
Yes.
Okay, that's cool.
Yeah. So no, you're not like the scene where they kill that person is what they're actually stabbing them. It's not like they click a button or anything. You got to sneak over and kill that person.
So these are all. This is they're prisoners. So is it all one gender or the other, or is it mixed genders?
It's mixed.
I think. Okay, so you're gonna have you're gonna have some violent pricks, unless you have, because presumably it's the future. There's guys who've been in prison for a long time, not feeling the touch of a woman, and they see a woman, they're gonna react violently.
Well, in this universe, Charlie. First off, this is my show. There's going to be no sexual violence. Second,
I know. I'm saying you need to come up with a reason to get rid of the sexual violence. Like maybe they've got collars on. Stops them from
it's not like they're not. It's not like they've been in prison for years. You get imprisoned. You're like in movies or I guess in real life as well. You get taken to jail. You go to like the holding cell in the police station, and then you go to actual prison.
Yeah.
You go from the holding cell to the board game. You're in jail for a short amount of time. It's like a few days, nice. And then you're playing the board game. Because, they need, like, this is a very entertaining game for the people of...
the rich and powerful.
Well, no, everyone loves this game. The poor, the rich, the middle class. It's like the staple. This is like the... Yeah, it is. It's the gladiator arena of this, this nation.
All right, and so what's your main... So you've got Sheriff Mallory. What's her personality type? What's she about? What's she into? She have a kid she's fighting for, maybe, or a husband, or a girlfriend, or a wife?
Well, what I'd like for is that the first episode sort of builds her up as a Mary Sue, right? So you're like, oh, she's like, she's perfect. Nothing's wrong with them.
A regular Luke Skywalker.
And the second episode...
I'm gonna piss off so many people by calling Luke Skywalker Mary Sue, but I don't care. Okay. Come and get me. I'll shit right down your throats. All of you.
Well, please don't do that.
I really got to.
But see, you sort of like, you're like, oh, she's great. There's nothing wrong with her. I wonder why she's in prison. Second or third episode is when you find out why she's in prison. So she murdered her family, and by her family, I don't mean her parents. I mean her wife and kid. And so you sort of like, I don't like this character anymore. That was pretty bad. And over time, we'll reveal that she didn't actually do it. It was like someone else, but she isn't.
It was a demon. Make it supernatural out of nowhere for no reason whatsoever. It was a demon. So you're basically doing Death Race.
I haven't seen Death Race, so I don't know what that is.
Death Race by Paul. It's not. I can't remember. Which one's the bad Paul Anderson? Okay,
what?
The bad Paul Anderson, the one who directed Event Horizon and other stuff like that. And the Mortal Kombat movie. I don't know if it's Paul W.S. Anderson or just Paul Anderson.
Yeah.
I think it's Paul W.S. Anderson. He directed Death Race, which is a remake of Death Race 2000 from the 70s starring Sylvester Stallone. And the new one starred Jason Statham. and it's a guy who's falsely imprisoned after he was convicted of killing his wife and child, and then he's forced to do a death race for the amusement of all the public watching.
Okay, so literally that, but I've never seen this movie ever.
Yeah. I just
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. Well, maybe I want to switch it up then. Do you have any ideas?
Yeah. I'm better for Mallory? Maybe she's like, I don't know. I'm thinking she's got to have a reason to be fighting to get out, like maybe a sick mother or something that she's got to take care of.
I feel like that's cliche. What's something original we could do? Something that's not typical.
A kid who has dwarfism, and she's done the Hunger Games so that she can pay for the anti-dwarfism surgery, where they stretch out their legs.
Oh, okay. So we can make it. She's not in there because she's a prisoner. You can also voluntarily join, and you get paid like a fee, and she needs that money for whatever reason.
I think we shouldn't do a sick kid, because that's pretty cliched. So let's say she wants that money because she wants a boob job. No, that's pretty. No.
Maybe it's just like, maybe it's something it's simple, but at the same time pretty good. Like she can't find money because this is a rough world. She can't get any jobs. It's her last choice, and she needs to do this.
So she can either sell her body to the people or sell her body to the government.
The people.
She can either be a prostitute and sell her
body
directly
not gonna
to the
introduce
people,
that idea either.
Or she could. Well, that's if you're saying this is a rough world and all she has is her own. This isn't like
a rated R show. This is like a PG-13 where there's murder and maybe an occasional cuss word. Sort of in between PG-13 and R.
Occasional poo. They say poo. Oh, poo.
Or
she can sell her body to the government and be used as an entertainment piece, a literal piece in a board game.
Yeah. Okay. I like that better. So Sheriff Mallory, our person that needs money, and so through the game, she's going to.
Ooh. Maybe just an idea that popped into my head is maybe she has her own physical ailment that's continually weighing her down throughout the series. Like she's got a heart issue or a lung issue.
Oh, and she needs the money to fix that. Okay.
And she is running at like amnesia. Her brain's not working as well.
Yeah.
So she needs the money to fix that. So it's making it harder, but you're still rooting for her because she's not a criminal, but she's working with criminals.
Okay.
And you get some criminals, like a guy who's convicted for murder, but he's got a heart of gold, and like you get one of those investment banker guys, like white collar criminals, and he's the doctor. Yeah. Is there a doctor in Sheriff Salem?
There is a doctor.
Yeah, because the doctor in these games, as far as I'm aware, their thing is like they can either save other people or just keep saving themselves. And I think you get an investment banker, white collar criminal. You could have a good character arc with that, maybe.
Yeah, maybe they start saving themselves and eventually they save her, which is actually what I wrote down. But I didn't think about the investment banker thing. So the sheriff, Mallory, she starts off, first episode is all just world building. It's kind of like my first episode of Game of Thrones episode, where it's, you're just trying to get used to it. Nothing really crazy is going to happen. You're just sort of get introduced to the characters and sort of figure out how the game works. Mm-hmm. Second episode, so the sheriff, what they do is they investigate someone every night. And she's going to investigate someone, and she's going to find out that they're evil. And during the day, she's going to convince everyone to hang this person. Because that's how Town of Salem works. So in the day phases, you vote to hang someone. And the night phases, use an ability that you have. Well, and the sheriff would be investigating someone, doctor healing someone, serial killer killing someone.
You're going to have to play this very close to the chest. Like, in modern times, a whole town getting together to hang one person could be taken to mean a lot of different things based off of who the person they're hanging is.
I see. Now, the game is called Town of Salem. I know. So it is probably, leaning towards that as opposed to any other...
yeah, I know, but still, if it's just prisoners, you would. Well, I'm assuming this isn't.
Well, maybe we don't have to hang them. Maybe we can use a guillotine or something.
Yeah, or so. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe a guillotine or. Something.
Okay, so a guillotine would look cooler too.
And they've got such that. A guillotine's got such a good dramatic like thunk.
Yeah.
And you can like do the match cut with the thunk onto like someone cutting up bread or cutting up fruit or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We have a nice shot of like the light gleaning off of the metal on the guillotine, the blade as the person like is under it. That would look cool. So she investigates someone that she thinks evil, brings him in, they chop his head off, convince everyone in the town. Everyone's like, yeah, Mallory's the sheriff. We believe her because she's telling us this person's evil. They kill the person, find out they're good, because there are certain roles in Town of Salem that they show up as evil, but they're actually good.
They were the saint or whatever.
Well, one in the card game is the politician, which is funny.
Oh, they're not good. I'm okay with her killing the politician.
But it's like the person's not actually a politician. It's just a role in the game. It's gonna be someone that's kind of tragic, like like some poor old man or something, or
maybe it's a guy. Yeah, he's doing a thing. Maybe we could do like a death of a salesman thing, where it's like if you volunteer to do it and you die, your family gets a certain amount of money.
Oh yeah, they get money from like the TV ratings or something.
Yeah, so like, or what we could do is like a Twitter poll thing. Where like an OnlyFans style situation, so the people like if you the more money you get is from the people, you get a flat rate fee for appearing on the show, and then the people give you money.
Go fund you because they let you in the show
because you're like a good character, so people are constantly fighting like in the
everyone would fund the guy that died second day, right?
Well, no.
Yeah, that's no one would fund this guy. This guy's getting no money.
Exactly. That's why he's a tragic character.
That's why it's tragic. Okay, he needed the money, but he's not going to get it.
Because he's got like his family's going to get like $2,000 for their grandpa being murdered on television, and he got like a $500 GoFundMe, and that was it.
And now the point of this death is to sort of because originally Mallory's going to come in, Mary Sue, very confident. And the original idea was that it would be revealed that she's actually a bad person. But I guess this fits better. Her Mary Sue-ness breaks at this moment because she failed. She picked the wrong person. She just killed an innocent person. Like, literally killed them. Because everyone believes her. And now the town doesn't really believe her. And now she has to sort of redeem herself and get the town's trust back. Because she's one of the most important roles, the sheriff. Because they're one of the few people that can determine what other people are.
Yeah. Sounds like a good first couple of episodes. What's the season arc? What are you thinking about?
The season arc is eventually we're gonna get down to a lot of Town of Salem games. If the mafia is doing well, you get down to 1 mafia and 2 town, and this is a big moment because it's gonna be Mallory, a mafia that she knows is mafia, and then one other person. And both sides are going to be trying to convince that one other person that the other is mafia. And that's the finale, is this like argument running back and forth, them trying to convince this person to get on their side.
Mallory isn't the mafia, or Mallory is the mafia. And I guess there could be a whole thing, like a whole season thing, where she's like, I'm the sheriff, and people just take her word for it, and then it's constantly questioned throughout the series, and we're never actually given a definitive answer.
Yeah, we don't actually know if she's the sheriff. Yeah, that'd be good.
Yeah.
And then
maybe it.
What are you gonna say?
Go on. You.
Okay.
Well, shit.
It's my show. Okay. Well, it ends up with her winning. Is what I was gonna go with. She wins the games, gets the person on her side. Her and the one person survive. So only 2 people survived out of the possible many town that could have won.
I think what a good ending could be is she wins, she survives, and then they're like, all right, you can take your money and go, or we've been watching you. You did real good throughout the show. You want to give it another shot?
Yeah.
And she has the opportunity to do another one, and then maybe that's the ending of the first season. Second season, you start up, and she's nowhere to be seen. You do a completely different thing with completely different
And then
characters.
third season, she comes back.
Third season, you do another Town of Salem, and you find out... Or no, not even another Town of Salem. You do another game where they're in, like, a confined space, and you find out she's been trapped there for years or something.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting. I was thinking about introducing her as a villain in season 3 after you said that.
That was another idea I had,
because maybe in season 2 we make it, it's one game. In season 3 we get to it, and you sort of realize there's a bit of a time jump between 1 and 3, and she's like a grizzled veteran of the games now, and she's like really good at it, and she's sort of become disillusioned with like reality, and she thinks the games are all that's reality. And she's got so much money, but she just keeps playing over and over again. She's got enough money that she can live forever, have all this cool stuff. She'll be nice and happy, but she just keeps playing.
Yeah, and she's just like this, like completely unaffected by death, and just like, yeah, whatever. You're gonna be useful. You're gonna be useful, and you're gonna be useful. The rest of you can fuck right off.
Yeah. And like a little bit childish about it in a way.
Yeah. Like
it's a game. It's all just a game.
No. Yeah. Like she's picking a team at school.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that sounds like a good idea.
That was my idea, Charlie. Would you watch?
I would watch this show. Well, it depends how long is each episode.
Oh, well, probably like 30 minutes maybe. 30 minutes is probably a good length for episodes.
I'd watch this show, yeah.
Is there a board game you're looking forward to that you would like to be played?
Uno.
No? You don't like any board games, Charlie?
No, Uno.
Uno?
Uno. I want them to try Uno. Like, I think you should go for some classic games. Like, maybe Clue, or you could do, like, a different version of Monopoly, where it's, like, they die if they land on another person's property or something.
Yeah. Makes sense.
I don't know. I'm thinking about board games that most people would know.
To be honest, I'd probably have to come up with my own because I wouldn't get the rights to any of these.
Yeah. Well, you could do it depends on how good the show does.
Yeah.
Because Town of Salem isn't a huge game, so you might be able to get
that, yeah.
And you could do like a brand sponsorship where it's like every TV, you have TVs in the background, and every TV in the background is just playing a commercial for Town of Salem, the board game.
Yeah. And they could maybe sell, in the actual game, they could sell skins of my characters in the game.
Question.
Yeah.
How is the filming of this being taken place? Is there a camera guy there, or is it all, like, stock, like, surveillance footage, or maybe...
So it's like, it's like any other movie. You don't know, like, there's... the surveillance shots of like the we're not seeing it all from the perspective of the real audience.
Yeah.
They're like, they're the shots that are like surveillance, like, what the actual people see in that universe, but we get like the nice close up and cool shots that they wouldn't get because there's a camera that doesn't exist in that universe that's there.
Yeah. Well, I'm just thinking about like in the Hunger Games, the thought that always pops into my head is how the fuck does anyone enjoy watching this if all you're looking at is like the trees, and then once every couple of hours, a cannon goes off, and like, oh look, a child's dead.
Yeah. Well, this is a bit easier because it's in a town that's in a circle, and I'm gonna have cameras everywhere.
Yeah.
There's cameras in your house, cameras outside. There's no moment of privacy.
That's cool. Yeah. So that's another level of driving people insane.
Yeah, that there's constantly being seen.
You can't like take a shit without someone watching.
Yep.
And like every time someone. It could be a funny joke that like every time they have to keep finding new and weird places to use the bathroom, because every time one of them uses the bathroom they get like
a new camera there.
No, just like a new like subscriber. Like someone's like $50 every time like the old man uses the bathroom.
Oh, are you saying this like it's like a donating thing? Hunger Games, you can donate supplies, but they get they can get money. Over time,
it's just money.
The audience just, as you said, like the GoFundMe thing, but I thought that was gonna be afterwards. So money, like they're giving them money during the show, and they can see
people,
that.
You have to be, you have to be making big moves in order of people giving you money. Maybe that's the first thing. Maybe she's like, all right, I'm the sheriff, and I'm making big moves, and like she's making big moves throughout the first episode, and that's what's getting like people to donate to her.
Yeah.
and she's got way more donations than everybody else at the end of the first episode, and they find out she killed an old man for no reason, and then stops donating. Like, she's just like the villain of the series, and nobody donates to her except for like horrible monsters.
That actually makes me rethink something. Because the end of the show is going to be her being the sheriff at the end. But now I'm thinking, no, she's the consigliere, which is the mafia equivalent of the sheriff.
Ooh.
And so the game ends with her convincing that person, the other person's mafia.
Mm-hmm.
They hang that person, or guillotine them, or whatever, guillotine. And then after that, she kills the other person.
Yeah, with like a brick or a crowbar. Like, it has to be visceral. It can't be just like a gunshot. It has to be something like you see a visual representation of her downfall as a human.
I think that's brilliant. That, like, the audience is strung along thinking she's the sheriff the whole time. Because you had that idea, like, oh, we don't actually know if she's the sheriff or not. And I was trying to think about how we could do that. But there is a mafia equivalent to the sheriff. So
there you go,
she's lying the whole time. And it all builds up to her actually being mafia.
All right. Well, I think that is a fantastic pitch for a television series.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, everyone, for listening to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I have been your host, Charles Lung, and with me, as always, has been my co-host, Jake _Gloth. And you can find us at Twitter and Instagram, and all the other things are all in the description because I'm too busy to memorize them. And thank you again for listening and commenting and subscribing and giving a thumbs up and telling your friends all about the podcast. But these two fucking knuckleheads saying things. Thank you and goodbye.